Hi guys, I hope you're well. I'm Lee from Mortgage Free Lee. I talk about money and mum life on the internet. I do some rather chaotic vlogs here on YouTube. However, today we're getting serious. We're going to talk about tax-free childcare. What is it? How do I use it? How am I going to save money with it? I'm going to tell you everything. I've got a coffee. Go get one. Come back, sit down, because we need to talk about this. So if you're a mum or a parent, you will know that one of the biggest challenges when it comes to managing your finances when you have children is childcare and the cost of childcare. If you're someone like me who doesn't have any family help with childcare, whether that's by distance, by design, for any other reason, then you're probably using some form of paid childcare if you're a working parent, and it is eye-wateringly expensive. So that is why I'm going to talk to you today about tax-free childcare. I've already done a video previously about 30 hours. However, there's a lot changing in that area, but I will link that video down in the description box so you can go and have a look at that one as well, because if you're a working parent, you will need to know about 30 hours as well. So definitely check that one out. And before we get started, just a little disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, I'm no kind of finance professional, I have zero qualifications in anything to do with money. What I am is a mum who had absolutely no idea what she was doing, and I have now figured it all out, and I'm going to tell you everything I know about tax-free childcare and be the friend to you that I wish I'd had as a new parent. It's important before we go on to say that if you are in receipt of any other kind of government benefits of any other sort, or you get any other help with childcare, you need to check whether or not you are eligible for this, because if you just apply, you may end up cancelling out your other benefits. They may be automatically stopped and you could be in a whole mess. So make sure if you're in receipt of any other benefit or childcare assistance that you are actually eligible for this. So before we get started, I need to make sure that the right people are sitting through this video. So who is eligible for tax-free childcare? For the most part, it is going to be working parents, and that will be parents where both parties are working, and both parties are working a minimum of around 16 hours per week on the national minimum or living wage. There are some limited exceptions whereby both parents don't need to be working, and the rules are slightly different if you're self-employed, especially if you started a business within the last 12 months, where you can be earning below the threshold but still potentially be eligible. So do head to the gov.uk website to check out your eligibility. For a lot of us, this is not going to be a problem. However, if you are a high earner and you are earning over £100,000 in net adjusted income, a little bit complicated. I've spoken about it on my social media. If you want to see more about that, I can link the post. If you are a high earner and you are earning more than £100,000 in net adjusted income, you are not going to be eligible for this, okay? And that also is based off a single earner. So it doesn't matter how much your household is earning. It doesn't matter if one of you is earning £50,000 and the other one of you is earning £50,000. It matters how much each one of you earns separately. So let's start with the basics. What is tax-free childcare? Tax-free childcare is a government scheme here in England and other parts of the UK where the government will pay 20% of your childcare bill. I said what I said. The government will pay 20% of your childcare bill, with a few caveats and as long as you're eligible, but we'll get into all that. 20%, that is major. How do we get the most out of tax-free childcare? Well, as I've mentioned, there are some limitations to the 20% that the government will pay your childcare bill, and that starts off with the fact that there is a maximum of £2,000 per year, £4,000 if your child is disabled. It gets a little bit more complicated than that because there's a maximum top-up of £500 per 3-month period. Once you're set up with your tax-free childcare account, you will have what are called reconfirmation periods, and they are every 3 months. Your tax-free childcare account will tell you when your reconfirmation period is. You usually get an email to remind you that you need to reconfirm. So every 3 months, you need to reconfirm to the government to tell them, my circumstances are the same, I'm still eligible, and I still want to get tax-free childcare. That 3-month period is important, and knowing the dates of that 3-month period is also important because the £2,000 maximum that the government will pay over a year is split up into a £500 maximum top-up per 3-month period, and the 3 months run alongside your reconfirmation periods. So just to try and make that a tiny bit more simple in case it blew your mind, which it absolutely probably did if this is the first time you've ever heard of it, every time you have a reconfirmation period, in each reconfirmation period, which is 3 months, you can get a maximum top-up of £500 from the government. This is where you need to understand what that means. So during each 3-month period, assuming that you top up your account 3 times, so you top it up monthly, you would need to be adding around £667 per month to get the full government top up. If your childcare bill exceeds £834 per month, as mine does, please be aware that you will be paying some of your bill without the benefit of the added top up because it just won't reach that far. You will have exceeded the maximum top up during those 3 months. Why is it important to understand the maximum top up and how to get the maximum? Because if during your 3-month reconfirmation period you do not add the maximum top up, you will not get it back. So if you will need to use the maximum government top up over the course of a year, you need to make sure that you are getting your full £500 top up within each 3-month reconfirmation period, because otherwise you have lost that money and you can't get it back. If you want to check how much of the £500 quarterly top up you have left available in each reconfirmation period, you can go into your tax free childcare account, click manage account, and underneath your current balance, it should tell you how much of your £500 allowance you have left. Just be aware, it's not always 100% accurate, so it is sometimes useful to keep track of your deposits within that time period so that you know that you're getting the maximum allowance. Okay, so you're eligible. Get me signed up. How do I do it? Let me know. Well, to sign up, you can sign up for a tax-free childcare account via the gov.uk website. You will need a government gateway ID to do this. It's important to note that if you are signing up because you're about to return to work after maternity leave, the earliest you can apply is 31 days before your expected return to work. If you're applying for a second or a subsequent child, you will need to apply for them separately because each child needs their own tax-free childcare account. So if there's one thing that really gets people into a panic, it's whether or not you can continue to use your tax-free childcare account for your existing child whilst you're on maternity leave with a new baby. And the answer is generally yes. It should be a yes all around. However, I have found it gets a little bit murky when you go into unpaid maternity leave. The government website states that if you're on maternity or paternity leave, it doesn't matter. If you expect to earn below the earnings threshold, you will still be eligible for using tax-free childcare. In general, for most of you, if you're going to be on paid maternity leave, the answer is yes. When you reconfirm your details for your existing child, there is a box within the application where you just change your details and state that you're on maternity leave. And that should allow you to continue claiming your tax-free childcare for your existing child whilst on maternity leave with a new child. This is where the real gems are being uncovered. I need you to understand that you can use tax-free childcare and 30 hours at the same time. Not only that, but tax-free childcare, unlike 30 hours, does not stop when your child starts school. Tax-free childcare is for 11 and unders and can be used for holiday clubs and wraparound care, where your childcare setting or holiday club is enrolled in the scheme. There are so many people who have stopped using tax-free childcare when their child went to school because they thought it ended then, and it doesn't. You can use it for approved childcare whilst they're 11 and under. So I personally use it for my child's wraparound care and also holiday clubs because both of my providers are approved childcare providers and they are signed up to the scheme. There are so many people missing out on money from the government for childcare costs who just don't understand that part. So people have asked me, how does this actually work? How do I actually pay for my childcare bills through tax-free childcare? You will have got your tax-free childcare account set up and you'll have been given a tax-free childcare account reference. You need to give that to your childcare setting provider so that they are aware that when that money comes in, that is your child's bill being paid. Then, when you get your childcare bill, you need to add the required amount of money to your tax-free childcare account, and the government will then put the 20% on top. Obviously, if you add the full amount that your childcare bill says, you are going to have extra money on top of that. So if your bill is underneath the £834 that we said is the amount that basically triggers the maximum government top-up, times your childcare bill by 0.8, and that will give you 80% of the cost. So you then add 80% of the cost, the government will add 20% of the cost, you then pay your childcare provider from within your tax-free childcare account, and they have the reference and they can see that that's the bill being paid. I do have one little warning because I've done it several times. When you send your money to your tax-free childcare account, make sure that you have put your tax-free childcare reference in, because if you don't, the money will bounce back eventually, but you might have to wait a little while for it. And that could be a problem if you're then going to be late paying your bill. So make sure when you're sending your money to your tax-free childcare account that you are adding your tax-free childcare reference. That is so that the government can identify which child's account your payment needs to go into. So I hope this has been helpful. It is a whistle-stop guide to tax-free childcare. I obviously can't cover absolutely everything for every different scenario. And as mentioned, I'm just a mum who's figured this out myself. So I'm not financially qualified. If you have any questions, you want to check anything out and be certain, you need to head to the gov.uk website to check your own eligibility and make sure that you are eligible before you apply. I'm Lee from Mortgage Free Lee. I talk about money and mum life on the internet. I talk about maternity finance, childcare costs, all of that good stuff over on my other social platforms and also here where I do a lot more vlogging and mum life. Please do click like, click subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. You want to see a little bit more about how to manage your money when you have a family, and do comment any questions you have or comments, let me know this was useful. It will really give me a boost. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.